Here's another idea of what I'm going to have if I ever go to build a house or at the back later on. Is I can make up walls with my rocks, or you can put crystals or whatever you want into it, into the concrete, so before it sets. So you get a big slab of concrete, put it on, big slab of concrete or a wall, but you can make it on the ground would be, if you're doing it by yourself or whatever and you haven't got a factory, you make a big slab, big square slab, like it's going to be a wall, right? And you smooth it off, and then you get all your rocks and you squish them in, clean them up, put them all into it. You go bang, 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 as best you can. And then once that's done, and you put your pattern in or your story in or something like that into the wall, which you can get the rocks from the land where you're building from. All land has rocks, but I'm not saying you'll get a good pick. If you're near a river, you'll get lucky with river type rocks around. Right? But say you do have the land, you've got rocks, or you can get a hold of some rocks, and you put your pattern into the concrete, and then once you've done that, you can do it on the ground or for walls, this idea. And then once you've done that, you can hit it with the clear concrete covering stuff that I can't remember what they call it, but they coat it so it's shiny and tough and protects the concrete and pops it all out, so you'd see all the detail in the stone better. And then once you've done that, you pick up the wall, and you've got a wall, right? Big piece for outside or to build with, like a big brick. And you can make sections of these like bricks as well, and then put them up. So that way they're not put on by bag or anything, because if you just put a little bit of layer over a surface and then put the rocks in, they fall off in chunks. But if we can get it within the whole big slab, it'll last longer. You'd have to chip it out better. It won't fall off in chunks. It slowly wears out. So using slag over things so you can make jobs easy and have a wall, then try to cover it up. It looks good and quick, but it will eventually fall off. So it's best to put what you want, your picture or your look, to last longest into the concrete. So that way it'll last longer, and then cover it with some sort of coating. You can do that to help it pop, because the coating can pop off and you can recoat it again. But you'll want your stones, decent size to be within the concrete. That way you can smooth it off and get the top and they're nice and buried in. Be hard to get out. And you can make walls, and you can make them bricks if you want, or make walls and then put them up. A little bit like having wallpaper, but it's sort of like a permanent wallpaper. So the only downside is that your design will be permanent, and you can do the same thing with maybe making lines if you like to get into that thing, into the concrete, and you can paint it. So make hieroglyphs if you want, and then coat it with the same kind of stuff to pop out that paint and hieroglyphs and make it last longer. That's the kind of cool stuff I'd like to start seeing a little bit more around. That it's cheap, because all you need is concrete, and it's really just the time, and then a bit of that lacquer stuff to put over the top, and then you're done, aren't you? Anyway, people, I thought I'll chuck that idea out. Have a good one about what I want to do in the future on walls, and a cheap way of doing it besides using, rock or something like that. I thought concrete, rock would be good, and then certain areas you could use concrete. Definitely if you want to build in the last, and what wears concrete mostly is the weather. So what you do is you could use 50-50, because I'm not doing this 50-50 thing, where you could use rock on the outside of the building, and then the inside walls, instead of using all the rock material, you could go to the concrete, and it should last a hell of a lot longer than 100 years or so. Definitely if it's coated, it could last just as long as the building on the outside before it needs to be fixed up. Anyway, just ideas. Have a good one. See yous.